Om Shanti. Welcome to Masters of Change. Each one of us has a unique life journey. And when we look at journeys of other people, we get to learn so much more. Our journeys are just singular, but when we open up to stories of other people and try and learn from their experiences, our journeys become much more enriched. Today we have with us a very special guest, Sister Ruth from Manchester in UK. Sister has been practicing meditation since the last many years and has had great experiences of experimenting with spirituality. Let's hear from Sister Ruth. Thank you so much for being with us today. We welcome you on the show.
Thank you, Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Sister Ruth, we understand that you're a meditation practitioner and a spiritual educator now. But we would want to know how you got into this. How has your journey been?
Well, I'm from the UK, but I never felt I belonged in the UK because I'm in a half and half body, half white English and half Nigerian, and I didn't quite fit in. In 1958, England was quite racist, and I grew up in a culture where people were actually afraid of black people. My mother's family were sheep farmers from a village, and my great-grandmother was afraid of black people. She thought they were devils. She was a Christian, and this is the belief. And so people weren't very accepting, and so for me, I felt very strange. So I grew up in this community, and for one reason or another, I started looking for happiness. I didn't feel I belonged, and I think my family members thought I was quite courageous. Some of them thought I was mad to give up jobs and try this or try that, but I found the most happiness pushing out of my boundaries. So sport, skiing, anything where I was really afraid. Windsurfing, when I was going so fast, I thought, I'm going to die, only God can save me. That sort of thing. And there was something in me that drove me to look and look and look and go here or meet this person, that person. So I found myself leaving my home area to go to university and not really visiting very much. Going abroad, and I did a degree that I thought I would enjoy. It was connected with agriculture. It was soil science. And as a young teenager, I thought how wonderful to go to my father's country and do wonderful things and be of value. But I wasn't much of a scholar. And yes, I got a degree, but my heart wasn't in it. My heart is always with people, and I learn from people. In the introduction, you encourage people to learn from people and other people's stories, and I do. So I found myself traveling abroad for holidays. I went to Turkey and connected with the land and thought, I'll learn to teach English and go to Turkey. I started Turkish lessons with a language exchange with a Turkish PhD student. I was passionate. This was it. And then, because of the qualification I had, I got a job offer from Singapore. And I thought, oh, Singapore. And I liked the idea of the heat and the sand and the sea and the tropics. And I thought, oh. And so I said, well, can you wait, please, until I get my qualification? And the director said, no, actually, we need someone now. I'll interview you. And I got a job offer. And I thought, oh, Turkey or Singapore? And I thought, no, Singapore. And I went to Singapore and loved it. The first night When I moved to Singapore, I went out into that tropical, humid atmosphere. The sounds, the smells, I'm home. And actually, it was funny. Some years later, just up the road in Kuala Lumpur, that's where I studied Raj Yoga meditation.
Okay.
So it was almost like my searching took me to the place where I found the study that made everything make sense. And so in Kuala Lumpur in 1995, I was working in an international school.
Okay.
I had moved from English language, an English language institute, to Singapore American School,
Okay.
and then shifted up the road because I wanted an overseas hire contract. I went for money, actually, thinking more money would make me happier or freer. And I went to the Brahma Kumaris Center to look for a speaker to come into our international school to talk about peace, because we're having a peace day. And I was writing the peace curriculum.
Okay.
And in international schools, we look for people from the host country to come in and speak from their hearts and give the children a perspective from their stories, a little like you're doing here, a perspective from their stories, so that the children don't see the host country nationals as cooks, servants and drivers, because many of the little children did.
Yeah.
And so that's what brought me to study Raj Yoga meditation, to check out the organization, to see if they were okay to bring into our school.
So you came in as an investment, as an investigation.
Yes, because as you can imagine, we have to be so careful with the people that we bring in front of our children. And so I checked them out, and that was quite interesting for me. In Malaysia, they did the Raj Yoga meditation course in 7 days.
Okay.
I believe in India that's the way.
It's similar.
Yeah. In the UK and also in South Korea, where I went to stay and work, we needed longer.
Okay.
Because people needed time to absorb and grasp and experiment.
Yeah.
Because you can't just take it all in and it happens. So the first day I went, it was, who am I really? And the sister who told me about it, it was like, yes, this makes absolute sense. Because I'm not this brown body. I'm not anything that people tell me. I'm a soul. And I realized I didn't really have a problem with my body and my physical identity. It was just, I didn't know who I was as a soul. And so that was day one. And day two, beautiful, God. Now, I had had all sorts of experiences with God. I terrified myself by becoming a Christian. And because I absorb things deeply, I had joined Christianity because of the people who were living and walking the talk, friends of my mum.
Okay.
He was a nurse and she was a mother at home, and they had an open door. They were rather like Malaysians, Singaporeans. They just had open house. And they were the most beautiful people I'd met. They had nothing. 4 children, a nurse's salary. And you would go and Eva would say, I'd offer you lunch, but we've got nothing. But someone would knock on the door, Eva, I brought you some veg. Knock on the door, Eva, I brought you a chicken. She'd cook lunch. They were really Christian in their values. And they impressed me, so I became a born-again Christian. But it didn't fill my heart because there were mixed messages.
Okay.
And when they said, you must convert your mother, otherwise she'll go to hell. I thought, that can't be. If God is good and God is love, how can that be? And how can it be that this church is okay but another church isn't? It didn't work for me. Now, I'm not saying it's not right for someone else. Each one of us has our own individual path to our best self. And that's, great. If you find it, if you live it, brilliant.
Yeah.
Because you will add value to the world. So I had this awful, embarrassing moment with my mother in the garden, trying to tell her she was going to go to hell if she didn't come to my church. And she was saying, "Oh yes, dear." And it's like, "Oh, I can't do this. I can't go tell my friends this. I can't." And I spent the next probably 18 months waiting for God to smite me for not being a good Christian. But he didn't. And I looked for God in silent spaces, sacred spaces. And in my travels, I found those places.
Okay.
Wat in Thailand, where there was this beautiful Buddha, silence. Or a mosque, just simple and empty. And we all dressed up, and yes, that feeling that was there. And in churches and cathedrals, it was there. But it wasn't any one of those for me. But it was something that created that. And that's what I found, day 2. That, not corporeal, not human, ever. Not a pebble or a stone or an animal or a tree. No. It was that point of absolute beauty. So much love. And then the explanation it was the 3rd day, karma. That God is not responsible for human suffering. It's like, this is it. This is it.
Yeah.
Because I could not be at peace with a God that caused children to suffer. I couldn't. It wasn't right that God would want that. So for me, it's yes. Yes, the little child is suffering, but there's a reason. There's a story behind that. And this suffering can lead to immense greatness, understanding and freedom. And so that was it. And my friends at school, they watched me in like 3 months change from this party animal who would come in at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, to someone who went out at 3:45 for meditation. They were going, "What's this?" And they watched me, but I was happy, and my energy was good. And over the years that I was in Kuala Lumpur, those 3 years, 4 years, several of my colleagues did the Raj Yoga meditation course.
Okay, looking at you.
Yeah, and my deputy head came and said, "Teach me to meditate, to go beyond the pain." He had a body condition.
Okay.
So they saw, although it perhaps wasn't what they wanted, they saw something.
Yeah.
And that was special.
Meditation helped you look for answers for fundamental questions that you had in life.
Yeah, and it was not that I had the questions on the surface.
On the surface.
But what I realized, and this is a great thing and may be useful to your viewers, that I did not know what real happiness was. I thought I did. I had had moments of immense happiness, but limited to places or relationships. And I recognized that what I thought was happiness was relief from tension or release from sorrow momentarily. And it was like,
yeah.
But it wasn't real.
Yeah.
It wasn't real.
So how do you think meditation has helped you overcome that temporary happiness? And do you think now you feel happy throughout? Is there a reason that makes you happy, or what is your understanding of happiness now?
For me, I understand that happiness, that joy, that bliss, this is a natural quality of the human soul. It's there. But we can't always access it because there are so many things blocking it. Our thinking, waste thinking, negative thinking that we don't even realize is wrong thinking because we grew up around people that thought that way and in cultures where, in fact, it was valued. When I felt happiness it was a connection with the Supreme.
Yeah.
And that wasn't easy because I had a lot of preconceptions and fears. And when you have fear of God, how can you experience God? But it was these quiet moments where almost I was off guard. And then I would just feel God's love.
Yeah.
Or something would happen and I would know God, that was God. And my feeling of fear, it dissipated.
Okay.
And as a lot of the dislikes and the sad memories faded because of the experience of meditation in the present, then that happiness became more a part of my life. And now I can generate feelings of happiness. I'm not saying I can hold on to happiness, because many things come that make me feel sad.
Yeah.
And what I've recognized recently is I need to stay in the present. Now you might be thinking, well, this is in the Raj Yoga course, it's a very basic thing. But it's one thing knowing, but it's another thing realizing at a deeper and deeper and deeper level.
Yeah.
And so my spiritual effort at the moment is to be in the present.
Okay.
Because memories, the memories I hold dear, have brought me to this point. But they are a little bit like stabilizers on a two-wheeled bicycle. If ever you've seen someone ride a bicycle or you've done it yourself, you have these stabilizers that stop you falling over.
Yeah.
But you reach a certain point where they hold you back. And you have to have the courage to let go of those.
Yeah.
And then you can really feel what it's like to ride a bike.
Right.
And so the memories of the past, even good ones, even the good memories of experiences with God, I've got to let them go.
Okay.
Because if I just go back to those and bring them into the now, I'm wasting a precious potential moment of even greater happiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Exactly.
So it's a matter of let go of everything, even good stuff. Yes, visit it from time to time, but don't live it. You know, someone shared something very lovely about the past in relation to trauma and bad memories, really, or dislike. A video will play, but don't let it finish. Just 1 second. You know the ending. Bring it into the now and make a better ending. Yeah?
Indeed.
Yeah, then I'm not limited by that amount of happiness.
You've pointed something really beautiful here when you say that, past is past. It's not just bad past which is past, but also good past is past.
Yes.
Because if you hold on to the good past, you're losing on precious moments of the now.
Absolutely, yeah. It is so important. And it's such a false friend to think back and enjoy.
Indeed.
Pleasant memories. 1 second is enough. I don't know if that literally is, but that's what I tell myself. A second's enough. And then be here. Use that as a catalyst to create something new. Something where you don't know the ending. And let God help you provide a different ending and create a new memory.
Yeah.
And then everything gets buried by this new and powerful experience. Yeah.
How do you see meditation has changed you as a person? The little and the bigger changes that meditation has brought into your life.
I was always a person that thought a lot. And so as a child, because I wasn't happy, I used to read a lot
Okay.
and vicariously imagine or visualize being in that story or being the hero. So in a sense, that was a sort of meditation, because I would also, then I'd dream new stories, visualize. So I had that ability. So when it came to this meditation, I could do that, but I didn't think that's what I needed to do. I thought from my meditation classes, I had to be bodiless, experience myself as a point of light. I thought only that was it. And so I was always asking, well, how do you meditate? What do you do? How do you churn this knowledge? And I thought there was a method, there was a way, and suddenly, bing, this would happen. And so I was looking in the wrong place. And because I hadn't connected in a powerful way with God, my mind was all over the place. But what was happening while my mind was all over the place and I wasn't meditating, I felt I was on track.
Okay.
And I felt this right from day one, like I was on a track and I had no choice but to continue. So what happened was, although I was sitting there all over the place, looking at this, watching this person, what are they doing, how are they meditating? I was looking at the picture of Brahma Baba on the wall, thinking, get that picture of that human being out of the way, I just want a point of light. All this rubbishy thinking. But it was like the Supreme was pulling me along, so that I was having experiences and meeting people that were helping me. And so within 3 months on a meditation retreat, I experienced early morning meditation. And although I had no idea why I was getting up so early and driving 15 minutes to the center and sitting and looking at that picture and thinking, get that picture out of the way, I was doing it. So in a sense, the karma of doing it, of being on track, was freeing my mind. And I was getting the input that I needed. So it was a long time before I had what I would say was a real meditation experience that other people were having. But it didn't matter. It was a matter of just doing it and just having faith and patience. And trust in the drama. I like drama very much. And it's almost if you're on the rails of drama and you're willing to let go and trust, then it will happen. It's just a matter of time. I have had some profound experiences. I really do think I've experienced God several times. And had it confirmed by a senior yogi. But there's almost layer upon layer of fear of God, maybe from different faith traditions in past lives, I don't know. But it's shifting. And by just doing it.
Would you want to share one of these experiences with us?
Yes, I'm very happy to. One of them was after I'd been through a point in my life where I felt like, what am I doing? I'd reached a really low point. And I had met Daddy Janki, who was, before she was the administrative head, I'd met her at a retreat. And I knew her from very early on my spiritual journey, because when I flew back to England, I flew through London and met her. And she had a way of shifting me. It wasn't comfortable, but it shifted me. And I went through a very low point where I felt I was not being helpful. I was. It was all Maya, an illusion. But I had gone to a retreat, and I'd gone for a rest, actually. But on the schedule when I arrived, it had Ruth interviewing Daddy Janki, and it's like, what? there are all these other people who are far more qualified, who've known Daddy longer. I struggle to understand deeply. I can't do it, but another sister helped me. And anyway, to cut a long story short, I met Daddy in a doorway, and Daddy said, "Ruth, you write to Daddy, you tell Daddy the feelings in your heart right now." And I did. And it was like, whoa, all this stuff came out about the past, relationship with parents, all this stuff. And Daddy said, "You come to London." And I went to London, and it was like a retreat in a way. And I actually physically attended 2 Brahma Kumari's retreats at the Global Retreat Centre.
Okay.
And they were retreats for the European teachers, so those managing centres. So the vibration was very lovely. And in the second retreat, the first retreat, I was there thinking, woohoo, and it was Raki time. We had to make a promise. Now, I've never liked making a promise to God. Never. It's always bothered me, because I deep down know I'll break it. So I didn't make a promise.
Okay.
The second retreat was a second group of teachers.
Yeah.
And we had to do the same. And I can't honestly tell you what promise I made. But in the meditation, there was long meditation while people were having Rakitide, and the most beautiful music. And I find music is very powerful for me in meditation. And I had an experience of Avyakt Brahma Baba, Avyakt Brahma. It was an experience. Daddy said it was an experience when I shared it afterwards. And he stood and had these like jewels, but they were very strange shape, and they were cut in a funny way. And the 3 jewels were courage, confidence, and clarity. And I was given them as a gift. And when I took them in my meditation experience, it's like I flew and all the rubbish was left behind. It was like I was given a gift to release me from all that rubbish, that confusion. And it was a life-changing moment. So that was very powerful for me. And it made me realize it doesn't matter how much the confusion is, the rubbish is inside, sit and meditate. Sit and meditate and just give it to God, and an answer will come. Maybe not as a vision or an experience.
Indeed.
And I've had people come, answers come. I have no concerns about health or anything. The right practitioner comes.
That's all God's help that you've received through meditation.
It is. And it's lovely, because it's almost like a friend, a very best friend, or a mother, a loving grandmother, or a beloved is saying, here's a gift for you. There's that feeling you recognize. It's lovely.
Thank you so much, sister. We've had a lovely time understanding your journey and the various experiments that you've done with meditation. My biggest takeaway from Sister Ruth's journey would be to sit back and check, where is the mind going? Are you still holding on to things from the past, or are you living in the present? And meditation helps us to live in the now, to live in the present, and build bigger, better, fonder memories. Thank you so much for being with us. Thanks to all our viewers for listening to us, and we hope that you will be able to imbibe great learnings from this episode. Om Shanti.